A year after being sent home from the ACC Tournament in Greensboro, the U of L men's basketball team is back in North Carolina, preparing for a postseason that we all hope goes a lot smoother than it did in 2020. Aaron Matus and Rick Bozich look back at last year's bizarre end to basketball and sports for a while.
March 11th, March 12th, 2020, seemingly yes, when everything changed. We spent those 2 days together going to cover the ACC Tournament in Greensboro. The plan was to drive there during the day, get there in the evening for some of the games, and we weren't on the road long before things started getting a little odd.
You're exactly right. We were following on the phone, on Twitter, and all the different things that were going on. And I remember clearly when we went through West Virginia, was it safe to have interaction with the toll booth operator, and also was it also safe when we got gas to go inside and get something to eat or drink, or should we just stay away?
We began having, quote unquote emergency calls with the ADs and the presidents of the ACC with the league, obviously, pretty regular, obviously daily, but then it felt like we were talking a couple times a day once we got to Greensboro.
We wanted to see that Syracuse, North Carolina game because the winner was going to advance and play Louisville.
Our thought was, how do we prepare our team for two different teams? I thought our preparation and time in the gym and time in the film room was valuable, and we were ready to go. But, you had to be living in a cave not to know everything that was going on around you.
Being at the Coliseum, it just was slowly unraveling into absolute chaos.
The game tonight has been postponed. You are all safe.
My phone was blowing up.
The NBA is suspending the season.
Remember it as a fast series of events.
Rudy Gobert has tested positive for the coronavirus.
You get a little bit of tiny news, and then, you hear something else from, Fred Hoiberg being sick on the bench.
We had gotten a notice that it would be limited people in the stands. And I couldn't fathom in my mind that whatever this disease was, that it was going to sit in the empty seats.
Things were just happening at such a fast rate that it was hard to process, everything that was going on.
As I went through the night, I found it troubling. I couldn't figure out what was the right approach there.
You could tell things were hanging on the edge, and the chances of completing the tournament started to get pretty slim.
We went back to the hotel, and we were afraid to touch the remote control, touch the doorknob with a towel or whatever it was, and we waited for the next day.
In the morning, when we're trying to get ready for our early afternoon shoot around, something didn't feel right.
We wake up on March 12th to news that John Swaffer's going to hold a press conference. We rush over there, and he comes out and announces we're playing on.
We had a quick meeting with our team, and then I was getting ready, and you started to see the things on TV. I was really concerned and thought, are we really going to play today?
And we hadn't even got to the floor yet, and I looked at my phone, and Jeff Goodman, I believe it was, had tweeted, the Big Ten has canceled the tournament.
Obviously, when I got there, it was eerie, it was a little different, and then I wasn't surprised when we were called off the court.
I expected it to be canceled. I had never been around or been involved with anything like that, so I was somewhat relieved that I didn't have to deal with what I didn't understand.
An interesting day, to say the least, here in Greensboro, one that started with the idea that we would play basketball. We then saw the ACC tournament canceled, only to ultimately see the NCAA tournament canceled.
It just came to an abrupt end. Not the day, the season. Like, it was over.
It's almost like a death when you first hear that about someone that you just, is so unexpected that it's really hard for you to understand it.
We had a player have symptoms that, as it turns out, was not COVID. We asked Fred Hina that night to take one of the rental vans and get the player back to Louisville. and we didn't leave till the next day. And to show you our ignorance to the virus at that time, we were down in the lobby that night having pizza and wings, and there wasn't 6 feet of distance between us or no mask at that time. We just didn't have a good understanding of what it was at that point.
Yeah, it was a very tough few days.
We had 2 buses that went to the FBO where we're going to charter back, and I got on the buses to say, if you are concerned or you feel unsafe in any way getting on this plane, let me know. That was tough. That was an emotional time as to where it all hits home. You're exhausted. I haven't slept, and you're delivering a message that's pretty scary.
Yeah, I remember the next couple of days, not coming to work, there weren't any games, and going out and walking my dog and thinking about, this is surreal. This isn't really happening. Basketball's going to start back up. What are we going to do?
We're going back to Greensboro, so you're a little scarred by that. I'm hoping for obviously a different experience. But Aaron, I would tell you, sitting here today, I don't take any day for granted and haven't for the last year.